What is up there, guys? It's Joe here for AETERNO today, and we're here at the Nürburgring for episode number 2 of Kamuis Kareer, where we are going to try and win the World Championship with Kobayashi in the catering. The first episode actually got quite a lot of views, which probably helped that I was featured on Alex Afro's channel at the time, but I hope if anybody is subscribed from then, I'd like to thank you so much for taking the time to do that. It is so appreciated, and yeah, here we are. It's episode 2, back by popular demand, I guess you could say. Didn't get, I mean, for me, it got quite a lot of views, and hopefully, as we go out to the track now, it'll hopefully carry through these 10 episodes. And obviously, a great first race. It was quite a long time ago that I recorded the first race, but.
Adrian Sutil needs a strong performance today. He's currently down a point in the rival challenge.
Thanks a lot, David. And here we are on the grid with Kamui Kobayashi. We've actually changed the helmet to a little bit more of a realistic one. And now we've got 3, 4, we've got 5 lights, and we're away. Now, all revving up as usual at the start, and we've got at one position already. We've got Max Chilton. Now, let's see what we can do into turn 1. Might break a little bit later than usual as we come up the inside, and oh my, I've just completely taken out there. There's absolutely nothing that I could do about that, though. I mean, he's just come across my path. I'll probably go around the outside of Peak if I can. Should be able to get around these back markers pretty soon. I have actually got, oh dear. I've got a bit of a topic that I want to talk about for this race, and I'll just let the opening lap probably come by, as we'll try and take these Force Indies around the outside. Oh my word, that is a beautiful move. We've only got one of them though, unfortunately. We're going to have to wait, but now we should be able to get them here. Oh my god, we braked into Sutil. They're so slow on the opening lap, it's so frustrating. But yeah, I mean, the race seems to have settled into a decent rhythm now. And I'm actually going to be talking about the F1 season. The 2014 season, the Jerez tests got underway last Wednesday, or Tuesday it was actually, as we run horrifically wide there. Yeah, the F1 tests commenced last Tuesday, and it's been really, really interesting. We can't really gather too much, I guess, from the first test, but there are obviously reliability issues for certain teams. Cough Red Bull. I mean, to only get 21 laps under the belt. I mean, I've heard actually people saying, you know, Red Bull didn't show their blistering pace in testing last year, but at the end of the day, everybody knew that Red Bull had a good package. I mean, I remember, I think it was actually at the Barcelona test. It might not have been at Jerez, but people were saying, you know, they've got a good package. And you know what, they might have a good package this year, but at the end of the day, that Jerez test last year, they banged in the laps, they really did. They were just going out, you know, for lap after lap, and that is what Mercedes have done this year. I do honestly think that Mercedes and Red Bull almost poles apart, they really are, but I can see Ferrari and Mercedes actually going for race wins early on in the season. And, you know, I do think Red Bull will be there, to be honest. But I think that Mercedes and Ferrari will have brought the best package to the season. I'm not certain that McLaren will have brought the best package once more. I wouldn't call them a midfield team. I wouldn't say. It's obviously way too early to predict, you know, what is certainly going to happen. I mean, this time last year, I believe Jenson Button was fastest on one of the days in testing in Jerez, so I can't actually remember which day it was. I'm not that sad, obviously, but yeah, I mean, the look of the cars has been subject to a lot of discussion. The catering, which I'm driving in now and bumping over those curbs, is a lot better looking than the one that Kamui will be driving this season. It just looks horrendous. It really does. It's as if, you know, they've been constructing the car and somebody said, oh, well, does anybody know about the front wing regulations? And they've just added on a little bit, you know, almost like it is actually a little bit like an old school vacuum cleaner. Slightly different to the Ferrari approach of the vacuum cleaner, but there's just so many varieties of designs, and they just look horrific. Some of them, they really do. If you have watched the video with myself and Alex Zaffro, then you'll know that I do like the look of the Red Bull and the Mercedes. Personally, I prefer the Mercedes, and I do like the design of that. The aerodynamics are quite interesting. I'm not sure if any of you will have watched Ted's Notebook, but that is if any of you have got Sky catch up or on demand, I would recommend definitely watching the day 4, I think it is. I think it's the day 4 notebook, where they go through all the technical regulations changes and how the teams have adapted to it. It's a really, really interesting watch. Basically, the Red Bull have packaged the rear end of the car really tightly, not really leaving a huge amount of room for cooling, which is why they've had such bad reliability. And it was really interesting to actually watch. And you know, some teams have taken a different approach. Mercedes have slightly changed it. They've got different air intakes, actually, just above the driver. That's where the air intake is, and Mercedes have sort of split it into 3. You know, they've got some going to the ERS system, which is like the electronic, it's the energy recovery system is what it stands for. So basically, it's what they've got some going to the turbo, some going to the ERS, which is basically the KERS battery, and they've also got some going to the engine. So there's going to be a lot of cooling, and there's also some interesting points when it goes to cooling and also the turbo. Now, if you don't know, for this season they're bringing in turbos, which will basically just give the driver a boost when they come out of the corner. They did have them in the 1980s. I would recommend going to play on the 1980s cars if you're not sure how they actually work on F1 2013. It works on the same sort of principles as that. It just basically gives the driver a boost when they come out of the corner, and it's interesting how some teams have adapted to those regulations, because the teams have been instructed to have a cover over the turbo to ensure that if the turbo fails, it doesn't go flying off into the crowd. All the teams apart from Ferrari have put a ballistic cover on the outside of the car, basically to stop it from blowing out. And Ferrari have done a different approach, where they've just actually they've put an extra covering on the turbo, which has saved, I think, about 4 or 5 kilograms in weight, which is big when it comes to the weight changes when it comes to the cars this year. Basically, what they've done is reduced the weight limit, and they believe that a lot of cars this week were running overweight, just because it's been so difficult to actually trim everything down almost, especially from last season. I mean, it's going to be a really, really interesting season. I really can't wait. I honestly think that either Caterham or Marussia, or maybe even both of them, are going to be moving up the field. I'm not too sure about the pace of Toro Rosso. It's been a really difficult week for them as well. Danny Kvyat only getting, 9 laps in all week, which was awful for him, really. But it's going to be a great season. Hopefully we'll see some competitive racing once more. And I'd like to see a return to sort of the 2007, really up to 2009 days, where every team had a chance of getting some good points. And especially as the points back then only went down to 8th, now they go down to 10th. It's going to be really, really good racing, and we could see the likes of Caterham and Marussia, I believe, getting points quite early on in the season, hopefully capitalising on the mistakes of reliability of some teams. But I guess that is about it for this video. I mean, I've really enjoyed episode 2, just sort of talking to you about the regulation changes. We've got Lewis Hamilton on our tail, and I think we will just have to settle for second. God, those will be the days, as Fernando Alonso takes out the win. We've got 7th as we come around the final corner. Can't quite get Webber, I don't think. We get on the power as early as we can. But yeah, that's it. Bit of a pointless use of DRS. As you can see, it's still open. We beat Adrian Sutil, our rival, but no, we will not be moving to Force India, because this is Kamui's career, and we'll be staying at Caterham. Hopefully we'll win the World Championship, but God knows whether we will. We got a good 7th place, though. I mean, I was really, really happy. I'm really happy with that result. And yeah, I mean, as you can see, we've got Alonso, Vettel, Massa on the podium. That's good. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really talked about Williams at all. Their pace is looking really good as they've now got the Mercedes engine, which is looking good, as you can see there. Verm with a 10-second penalty, obviously, for holding us up. So it's obviously deemed to be his fault, and Sutil down in 20th. We're in 6th in the championship, which is good. We're not actually that far off the lead. I mean, if we can get a couple of victories, we've got Silverstone next time out, which is one of my favourite circuits. Alonso leads the championship, and now we should be going to a pretty pleased Caterham garage. As you can see, high fives all around, and I've really enjoyed bringing you episode number 2 of Kamuis Kareer. And that just about caps off the episode. Don't forget to tune in next time. We should have videos all week this week. And until next time, guys, it's goodbye from me. See ya.